All right. Finally, we'll get around to getting this started. First, let me get an audio check. Can everybody hear me all right? If someone would just type in the chat box. All right. Good. First off, I want to apologize. We literally had to create something that the processors were not sure of what we were doing and how we were going to build it. And their concerns were very valid. You guys are all going to be able to see information about merchants and their accounts and things like that. They're kind of privileged information, and one of the big pushes right now is security of data. We have so many data breaches and so much fraud being committed. The card companies, Visa and MasterCard primarily, are concerned about how we control that data. Normally, if we're going to have an agent, there's a background check done and all sorts of stuff, and a lot of hoops to jump through, and coming up in the very near future, there's going to be registration, and everybody's going to have to be bonded. So what we had to do was create a way that you all had enough information to be able to see what was going on and still not be at risk of having to worry about how that data was protected. And I think we've got everything set up. There's going to be adjustments as we go along on this. But what I want to do on this first overview and training is give you a couple of products that we can start out with and give you some ideas on how to work with that and kind of explain them a little bit. I'm flying alone today. I don't have anybody else here in the office with me because it's that time of the year where everybody's running out and trying to catch up on some time off. But let's get started. First, I want to start out with just a thought starter for everybody. One of those things that somebody threw at me at one of the meetings we had. If you take all the letters A, B, C, D, E, F, G all the way through and you assign them a number 1 through 26, take a look at the fact that when you spell out the word knowledge, that the K equals 11, the N equals 14, and as you go across there, that number equals 96%. When you do the same thing with hard work, it equals out 98%. Both are very, very important to what you've got going on. But attitude, when you add it up, and I forgot to add it up for you, but 1 plus 20 is 21, is 41, is 50, is 70, is 91, and attitude equals 100% of everything you've got to put into things. Just a thought starter. All right, here are the products we primarily sell. We do bank card processing, merchant cash advance. Here's probably the newest one we've got that is going to take some more explanation and probably could probably technically tie up 100 hours of explaining what it is, but it's called EMV and PCI compliance. Technically, EMV is those little computer chips, or the little chips that you see in your credit and debit cards now, where you slide the card into the terminal and you leave your card in there and it reads it from the chip before you put your PIN number in. While not mandated by law or not mandated by rules, what happens with it is a shift of liability. So if you're not, if you've not got, if you don't have an EMV type terminal and there is a data breach, you could be responsible as a merchant for the cost of that data breach. If you look at something like the Target data breach that happened 3 years ago, you're looking at something that could be in the neighborhood of $15 to $20 billion of expense. So something that's very critical for the larger merchants. Smaller merchants, it's not as big of an issue, but it's still important. It'll help cut down on chargebacks and things like that. PCI compliance, this is the portion where we had to rewrite some of the rules to set up what we're doing here, but it also affects the merchants, and that's the processing card industry standards. What that means, it even goes down to the point of merchants' employees, how they handle debit card, whether anybody writes down the debit card number, how the receipts are truncated, whether they've got full credit card numbers on them or not. A lot of issues go into it. On those two things right there, one of the big things that happens is that the processors are not pushing the merchants to be compliant, and then they're adding additional charges to their monthly bill. That can literally be as much as $40, $50, $60 a month. Added to their bill. And when you hear a merchant complain about hidden charges, that's one of those things that can be there. All right, Han says he can't hear me. Can everybody else still hear me at this point? Han, you might try logging off. All right. Send Hans a message. And so this is going to be the thing that you hear, EMV and PCI compliance are going to be some of the things that you're going to hear merchants complaining about, hidden charges. Real easy thing to solve. The compliance on it is real easy, and it's an easy way to pick up an account. POS systems, we're going to get into POS systems pretty much in depth here real quick. Because this is kind of the direction the industry is going. And you're going to find out that we have spent somewhere around $750,000 marrying together our POS system with marketing. And we'll talk about that a little bit more in a little bit. We do gift and loyalty type cards. We do text message marketing. We do social marketing, and we do proximity marketing. For those of you that don't know, most of those are pretty self-explanatory. Proximity marketing is geo-targeting, and it allows, what happens is it sends out push messages when someone comes within range of the transmitter. We actually have, the terminal has the transmitter built into it to make us be able to talk to the merchants more about how to create revenue rather than save revenue, and we'll get into that a little bit more. We also do ATMs, and ATMs are getting ready to go into a big push on the EMV. They're going to be later into the market than what the credit card terminals were. And the final push on that is going to be at the fuel pumps. Yesterday we got a notice that fuel pumps have been pushed back 3 years before they have to be EMV compliant. That gives the ATM guys a little bit of a leeway to get in and get their stuff done, so it doesn't overwhelm the processors. You'll also see us doing a lot of local marketing and a lot of lead generation for the businesses. Now, we're going to be able to promote and sell all those products for each one of you. We're going to start out and try to get some cash in everybody's pockets as quick as we can, so we're going to concentrate on a couple of products. And the first of those we want to talk about is bank card processing. In the past, you could walk into a merchant and you walked in and talked about saving him 10, 15, 20% on his credit card processing. Those days are kind of past us now for a lot of reasons. So the merchants hear that. The merchants hear that story all the time, probably 3, 4, 5 times a day in busy markets. Little markets, they hear it 4, 5, 6 times a week, so they're tired of it. They've toned that out to where they don't want to hear somebody say, I can save you money on your credit card processing. It's just too common. It's too easy to block it out as white noise. They'll hang the phone up on you without even saying goodbye. To give you an idea, the average merchant does about $500 a month in charges on their credit card bill. If you go in talking to them about saving $50 or saving 10%, it's going to save them $50 in a month. And every merchant thinks of every time they change credit card terminals that all it is the biggest hassle in the world. And why go through that to save $50 and build up a new relationship? The pitch we've started using here lately is asking the merchants, are you still using an old credit card terminal, or have you got a marketing machine that does credit card processing? And so what that means is rather than going in and talking to a merchant about saving $50, we're going in and talking to a merchant about picking up 8 to 10% of their business a month and growing it by that much each and every month. So instead of talking to a business about saving them $50 in credit card processing, we're talking about bringing in an additional $2,000 to $5,000 in revenue. The story we tell them is we're looking for more customers more often, spending more money. And this is our new processing system. It is a tablet-based terminal. Unfortunately, it's not a free terminal unless the merchant's processing is high enough. But it covers all the bases. It's EMV compliant, which means that it's got the chip reader in the pad there to the side. In this pad right here, it's got the chip reader. That pad spins around so it's customer facing. It also has near field communications enabled. So what that means is it'll work with Apple Pay and Google Pay and all the mobile wallets that are coming out. Merchants so far have not come on board real strong with the near field communications, but we're looking at an increase in the processing at a rate of about 4 to 5% a month of what's done with the wallets. Merchants are the ones that are slower on being educated. Terminal's got inventory management built into it. One of the things that we do is a little bit different than everybody else. Our back office will load in the initial inventory and enter in the initial pricing. It's set up with back office functions and reporting to the merchants. Got time tracking in it. Does not have payroll in it, but it's got the data to where it can be downloaded and then uploaded into QuickBooks, or can be downloaded and sent to ADP or whoever the payroll company is. Everything on this one is cutting edge, and it's integrated with marketing. The one thing that makes the tablet-based be so good and strengthens it and makes the investment worthwhile If we come up with a new method of marketing, if we come up with any new technology, we can push that download into the terminal, and without having to replace the terminal, they've got the latest and greatest that's out on the market. The terminal will do everything that any POS system will do. It'll do tipping and split tickets. You can set up up to 999 tax settings. So depending upon if a merchant's got a state sales tax, a county sales tax, a local sales tax initiative, all those can be built into it. It can also be built into it if it breaks down, if it's in those areas where product is taxed at a different rate than the service is. And it can add all those built into it. But almost every POS system in the world has got that stuff built into it. Doesn't make it unique. But what makes ours unique is that we bought into a company called Passmarket. Passmarket has two levels it's involved in. We'll be upselling most customers into the advanced. What it does, just by entering their phone number at the checkout, customers join the loyalty program. Now, a loyalty program is how they build up points to get discounts, to get free products, to get notifications of special deals or special sales. It'll have for those merchants that have got multiple locations, it's got a store locator that will push down an app to them that'll allow the customers to find out which store they're closest to. Campaign Manager is the big thing that get a lot of the merchants excited because for the first time they can do the geofenced beacons, they can do the proximity marketing. A restaurant, somebody walking by out on the sidewalk can get a text message telling them that there's specials today, inviting them to come inside. When the merchants upgrade to the Passmarket Advanced, we're going to be able to do Twitter coupons for them, Facebook coupons. There will be social interaction on all the major social networks. Coupons are still a big issue. Mobile coupons are getting to be bigger and bigger with the merchants. Most of us saw that as a big thing, but was not accepted by the merchants quite as much. Now we're starting to see merchants wanting and asking for the mobile coupons. For restaurants, they pick up order ahead. What that does is allow their customers to order for a takeout, for a sit down, have the food ready when they walk into the restaurant. Now, all that comes included. The merchants will pay for it in their monthly processing fees, but it's all included in it. So rather than having 9 or 10 different vendors in there to do everything, suddenly everything is right there on their cash register. They can sit down at their computer in the back office if they want. They'll be able to log on, track all this, send out the social media, push out the coupons, adjust the campaigns that are going through the proximity marketing. Our back office, our support, trains them, works with them, will actually give them ideas for marketing on it. We've got a lighter package of this for those people that don't want to step up and buy the complete POS system. We can actually do a lot of this based off of just a regular credit card terminal. Now, this is, and I probably mentioned this earlier, One of the big things that has driven the credit card business here in the last 10 or 15 years has been free credit card terminals. The problem is when you go with free, you give up the ability to do all of this. There will be a charge on this. The cost when we sell it to the merchants is going to be $1,395. Now they can either pay for it, and we're going to charge our cost to the merchants is going to be $1,995. Will we negotiate on that and adjust if we have to? Of course. But at the $1,995, what that does, that will pay you all $300 plus the $150 on your just to get the account. So you'll make $450 off of just setting one of these up. The other thing it will do, it's going to add about $30 a month to $60 a month in additional revenue on the bank card side of it. So you'll pick up an additional $15 to $30 a month in fees. Good possibility there to take that account that's paying you $100 to $150 a month and turn it into a $200 a month account. Any questions on that? We are primarily a technology company in reality. That's where we started out at. My initial foray into the business was I bought the rights to a check authorization network, and then we turned that into a electronic check processing, and we own one of the patents on electronic check processing now. So technology is always where we've been. Now it's Christmas time and everybody needs to make money. So probably the most profitable, quickest turnaround, put cash in your pocket product that we sell is the one that is most needed at this point. What we do is we find merchants that need cash, and last time I checked, there's a lot of them out there that need cash. And what we do, we actually purchase their future credit card sales and advance them money off of that at a discounted rate. Now, this is not a loan. There is no true loan process that goes through on it. Say a merchant, to explain the advance side of it, say a merchant has, say they're doing $50,000 a month in credit card processing. They can get as much as $100,000 advanced to them on that, depending upon how steady their sales are, whether they're showing a growth in business. We literally look at the business itself to see how strong it is. Now, that advance, they will end up paying back $100 on, if we lend them $100,000, they'll end up paying back somewhere between $135,000 and $150,000 back to us. There is no interest rate. What we are doing is discounting how much money they get off of what we buy. We're technically buying the $135,000 to $150,000 in future credit card sales. Now, how do they pay it back? They pay it back based upon their daily credit card sales. In most cases, that's going to vary anywhere from 10 to 15%. So the business that's doing $50,000 a month in credit card sales is doing about $2,000 a day in credit card sales. They are going to pay back on a day when they do $2,000, they'll pay back somewhere around $200 to $300 out of that, and we automatically withdraw that out of their proceeds. Now, say that same merchant only does $1,000 worth of credit card sales one day. We're not going to take $200 to $300 out. In that case there, we're going to take out $100 to $150. That same 10 to 15% of what they actually do for the day. So the amount they pay back varies by day. What that does, it protects them in case their business slows down. It would be awful to think you were up in the Northeast and a snowstorm came through and you went 3 or 4 days without opening your business up, and there somebody was trying to hammer your checking account to get $250 out of it when you're not earning any money. So the merchant cash advance is set up to take into those fluctuations in business. Is it possible that they start doing $5,000 a day and it moves up the fact that they're paying back someplace between $500 and $750 a day? Yes, but that's a good problem to have. The other thing that does, that means it will pay off. It will pay off quicker. Even though we've got a basic timeline set up of what we expect them, when we expect this to pay back, it varies depending on how their business was. I've seen some that have paid off, were expected to pay off in 8 months and paid off as soon as 2 months. I've seen some that were expected to pay off in 8 months and paid off in 3 years. Processors, the company that does the advances for us, they don't get in a panic because they know they've got their money made and they're following what the business is doing. Now, this money is to use however the business owner wants to use it. If they want to advance it to themselves and go spend it and buy Christmas, they're more than welcome to. We prefer that they go up and open up a new location and we pick up the processing on the new location. But I understand how Christmas goes. Now, here's the point that is good for you all as far as getting leads for us and us getting sales. The commissions run from 3% to 8%, which doesn't sound like a whole lot. But let's take that merchant and let's say we advance him $50,000. It, depended upon how everything's set back, pays out anywhere from $3,000 or pays anywhere from 3% to 8%. If it pays a 3% commission, it pays you $1,500 and you get that money up front. If the deal closes and funds on Monday, on Wednesday morning, that money, you guys will get that money sent to you. Now, if it is structured in such a way that it's an 8% commission, that means you'll get $4,000. All sounds pretty good, one-time hit, but the average merchant, this is kind of like crack cocaine, once they get hooked on it, they renew over and over and over. Almost 70% of them renew. The average payout time runs in the 8 to 9 month range, and so that means on an average year, you're going to be able to tap into that business owner twice for either that between $1,500 and $4,000. And if the business is using it smartly, they're growing their business, and you're going to pick up other things on it as well. Downsides to this, approval rate on this is about 70%. Unfortunately, not a lot of our processors will work with somebody that has a tax lien. They can't be in a Chapter 13 bankruptcy. They can have a recent Chapter 7 bankruptcy and be all right. It requires a lot of documents. We've got to normally get 6 months worth of their checking account statements, 6 months worth of their credit card processing statements. and other documents, driver's license, to be able to check everything out. Downside is if we could do it for new businesses, it would be great, but we've got to make sure that the business has been around for at least a year. There are exceptions to that, but not enough of them that it's a market that we ought to go looking after. Any questions about merchant cash advance? All right. What's my pitch, and are there any legalities regarding what we can say in our messages? My pitch is that they have been pre-approved. They have met the pre-approval qualifications to be advanced as much as 2 times their credit card processing. The things we cannot say loan, we cannot say interest rate, and you can't discuss technical payback terms with them. You can't tell a merchant that it's going to be, the one thing you can't say to them is you can't say that it is 0% loan with payback in 8 to 9 months. That'll violate all 3 of the criteria we've got to watch. I try to be simple with my pitch as far as the front end pitch on it. We ask a merchant, we have technically right now we have $22 million to advance to merchants. And are you in a position right now where you need some additional cash flow to grow your business? This time of the year, we also start talking about taxes and the fact that making sure they've got their tax bill paid. A lot of people reach out to us at this time of the year looking for money because they didn't save up enough money during the year to pay their taxes. Another reason why that we see a lot of renewals on it. Here again, I'm real big on keep it simple as far as the pitches. You know, do you need some cash? We've got some money. Easy qualifications. And we can get the money in your pocket quick. Quick, easy, and a lot. Any other questions? I'm kind of going to, at this point in time, over the course of the next couple of weeks, we're going to talk about the other products we've got. But I think by focusing on these two, we'll be able to get you up and going. Questions that come up that we're going to be the next part of what we're going to talk about. Later on today, we're going to send you out an email. We're ready to set up tracking numbers for you. We've got lead capture. We've got lead capture set up. And what we're going to do is give you a questionnaire to fill out what you need, or what you feel like you need to be able to start sending in leads. Some of you are going to be doing voice drops. We're going to have tracking numbers set up for you for that. Some of you are going to be doing pay-per-click. Some of you are going to be doing different methods. We'll have lead capture. We'll have lead capture for you. All this is going to be tied into what, and technically I can't call it your agent number. I've got to call it your association number, so I can be PCI compliant. Each one of you is an association, as if you were a bank or a chamber of commerce. But we're going to end up tailoring a lot of this stuff specifically to what you're doing and how you want to do it. One thing about Team BPS, which is my corporate entity, we have never ever in our lives been a one-size-fits-all type shop. We know that every business out there is different. We know that everybody that we do business with is different. So we try to tailor everything to exactly what that person needs. Now, sometimes that makes us operate a little bit slower. Sometimes we invent things that haven't been invented yet and have to convince the powers that be that it's all right to do something that they're not familiar with. But you should have that email, should be out to you. Somebody's going to be back in the office at about 1 o'clock Central Time, and they'll start sending out those surveys to you at that point. Other questions? One of the things you guys will find out is I don't like, just because I set a meeting up for an hour, I hate to drag it out into an hour unless unless we just need to. Try to give you a lot of meat. Now, what that's going to do, we're going to schedule another meeting on Thursday, and during that time, what I want you all to do, other than get the survey back to us, I want you to take a little bit of time, think up what questions you've got on these two products, and hopefully by Thursday we'll be able to turn you all loose and let you start getting leads sent into us. My people on this end are excited about it. To start out with, I'm going to try to handle as big a majority of it as I possibly can until we get everything balanced and set up. But that's kind of the direction we're going to go to start out with. At the end of the day, you're going to find out that we probably have a total of about 30 products that we tie in with everything. Once we can get them in the system on one product, it will allow us to start selling the others. I hate to see anybody sitting around in the office here or my outside agent sitting around and not have somebody to be working to try to sell something to them. So that's why we've added products all along. We want to be that one-stop shop where we'll do everything for them other than carry cash to the bank. And if they'll pay me enough, I'll carry cash to the bank for them. Are we going to have a Facebook group? All right, most of you have already probably figured this out. I am not a big Facebook person. One of the reasons why, and we'll probably go ahead and set one up, just so you guys can interact together. Being a salesperson that's out there working daily trying to sell, and my average day is 12 to 14 hours a day. Getting on Facebook just slows me down. But I think I think we'll get it set up and do it. But we will set up something where, as a group, that we can interact together, because I think that's important. Marketing materials, flyers, that type of stuff is the question Steve asked. We do have flyers. We do have that type of stuff. We actually have a printing company that does it on demand for us. We can get, I think, and I'm going to say this because I don't know for a fact, because I'm lazy. I try to outsource everything I've got. I think we can get the PDF versions. I think we can get the PDF versions of the flyers and the trifolds and the brochures and that type of thing. So those of you that want to print up your own, you can. I agree. Facebook is a great way to interact with each other. It's just time consuming on it's just time consuming on from my standpoint. It seems like there's always something. And no, we probably will not use the Trump Twitter system, for those of you that are wondering. Branded website, we've got branded websites, we've got branded lead capture, and they are going to be they're going to be branded to each one of you independently. That way, for a couple of reasons. One, I want the merchants to know that we have got a team that's working for them, not just a bunch of faceless people. One of the things we'll do, we want to add photos to it. We want to add to those marketing pieces that people come into contact of yours. But there again, we'll be getting the information of all that on the survey. The recording, for those of you that don't know, I am recording this, yes. I can't spell www, so be careful now. One of the people in the back office will get it set up and get it out to you. We'll give you a link to it. We're not real big about we're not like internet marketers. Our focus is giving everybody access to it. Sometimes the internal stuff does not look real pretty because our focus is outbound to the merchants. But yeah, I expect by this time tomorrow that one of them will have the recording out to you. Other questions? We as a team here are really looking forward to getting this kicked off. As much as you guys have wanted to get this going, my internal salespeople have been on my butt harder, and because they're going to be listening to this a little bit later on also, I want to give them a shout out for the fact that they're the ones that actually looked through the process and told me where something wasn't going to be working or where something was going to be working and what needed to be done and how to get us there. And as we go forward, you're going to be working, you're going to be getting questions from them where they're going to want to know details from y'all how things have been done. But with that, I see we don't have any more questions, and I want y'all to know that I value your time. Look for an email from us later on this afternoon, and then look for another invitation. It will probably come out tomorrow, and we'll get into the next session of it and try to get you started up and going strong on Thursday. All right, thank you all. Go out and sell something. Make some money today.